Yes, sir. We're officially back at it. This is Boog Nice coming at you with the Mezco Toyz 112 Collective First Appearance Doctor Strange figure review. Let's do it.
This ain't for no scalper. You a scalper? Then fuck out shit. This one's for them real collectors. That's army building and posing figures. Marvel Legends, imports, mini matey, I'm fucking with them. Hype beasts, we know about you. Stay buying figs, don't know about it.
Quick look at the side of the box. You can see it says Doctor Strange up above. Mezco Toyz by collectors for collectors at the bottom. Same thing on both sides. There's a look at the back. You can see some artwork of Doctor Strange, which looks pretty cool. All right, let's get this guy out. All right, so I've got the Sorcerer Supreme, the Master of the Mystic Arts, Doctor Strange out of the package. This is Mezco's second Doctor Strange, but they're labeling this guy as the first appearance Doctor Strange. So slightly different deco from the original release that they put out, or the classic version, which I did review on this channel. So if you haven't checked that out, please do. I was very pleased with that figure. I think they did a great job, and pretty much more the same here. It's not much different aside from the deco and some additional or one additional accessory packed in with this guy. So let's jump right into things. Out of the package, he comes with two fisted hands, and taking a good look at this head sculpt and his deco while I have him here front and center. You can see they did a very good job on this head. That was one of the most attractive things about the classic version that I reviewed. I think they did an excellent job. I did see some people comment that the head looked kind of big, and I guess it is just a little oversized. It definitely could have benefited from a small downsize. But it doesn't bother me too much. Like I always say, some people just got big ass heads. You know, there's regular, real human beings walking around out there in the streets that have big ass heads. So it is what it is. The deco is just slightly different color scheme from the classic version. He's got the blue shirt with some different textures and some different hues of blue in there. And you can see how that design looks. And this portion of the design is sort of like a faux kind of leather. Here on the darker parts and even on the lighter part here, and his sash is like a velvet material. And one of the first things I did when I got him out of the package was pulled up his shirt here to make sure his pants weren't sagging. That was one of my complaints about the one that I reviewed previously, was that his pants were not really pulled up properly. So everything's looking good here all the way down to the feet. And as you can see, there's a hard plastic here at the bottom. It's not material all the way down to the bottom of the feet. And he looks very good, very clean. I don't really have any issues with the look. So let's swap on his other hands. So just like the classic version, no two hands are the same aside from the two fisted hands. So here's one right hand that is open with the fingers slightly spread, and a left hand where the fingers are positioned close together. And obviously the hands can be used for different gestures to show that he's using his magical abilities. And these look good, and there was no issue swapping them on. I have no problems here. And there's a look at the second set. You can see the left hand has the pointer finger and middle finger extended. The thumb is out. The other two fingers are tucked in. Looks like he's about to zap that ass. And then the second one is like the Illuminati symbol, or the Hawaiian symbol, or the I Want to Rock symbol, but it's really just Doctor Strange's crazy magic fingers. Let me ask you guys, when you guys hear Doctor Strange's voice in your head, do you hear the Marvel What The voice? Or do you hear Benedict Cumberbatch's voice nowadays? All right, moving right along. And then he's packed in with a couple of these magic effects, which are pretty much the same ones that we received with the classic version. The colors are just different. So you got one green and one sort of red, orange, or blood orange sort of color. And you can see some symbols in the middle. It looks like a star and a pyramid sign with the all-seeing eye, I guess, in the middle. So, and these can be attached to his hands, so it looks like he's using his abilities or doing a spell or something. And let's get these attached. So there's a look at that. You can attach these as you see fit. They just kind of slide right over his hand, and you can rearrange them and rotate them. I don't even have this right, but whatever. You can mix and match, and obviously if you have the classic version, you can use those colors and do whatever you see fit. And then it should be noted that the Eye of Agamotto can be removed from the center of his chest here, so it's just tabbed in with the little peg, and then you can remove the one that's open and replace it with one that is closed. Boom. And that looks cool. And then he's also packed in with this little globe accessory. So I know you can't see a globe right this moment, but it can actually open. This hatch can open to reveal a globe. But just taking a look at the design first here before I do that, you can see a bunch of little eyes here, some green eyes with a black pupil. And the legs here look like feet, and it looks like they are wooden. And it's a nice golden color on top. And I thought this was a really cool effect. So you can open it here with a hinge to reveal a globe of the world, and you can see all of the continents there, and you can actually raise it up a bit. I don't know if it can stay up when you raise it, but yeah, you can spin it. I know a lot of people were eyeing this prop when they saw that it would be packed in with the modern Doctor Strange, but looks like they packed it in with the first appearance version too. I think the one packed in with the modern version might be a little different as far as the color scheme goes, but this is a really nice prop and fitting for Doctor Strange, so I thought that was cool. And then his very final accessory, aside from a stand, which is packed in with all Mezco figures, which I neglect to mention oftentimes and I never show, is his cloak here, which like the version that was packed in with the classic look for Doctor Strange, it can be snapped together with magnets there. So the clasp is a magnet, and there is some bendy wire here down the front of the seam on the cloak. So let's get that on and I'll show you something else. And it should be noted before I put this on that you can actually fold down his collar on his shirt before you put this on. So it's actually a couple different ways to apply his cloak. There are magnets here at the upper portion of his chest where you can attach the two ends of the clasp there on his chest, or you can actually just clasp them together at the top like that. I prefer this. I've seen some folks actually pull the eye out a little bit from the port in his chest and tuck the two ends in there so it stays in there and so it looks good and looks flush. And it should be noted that there is some bendy wire here in the upper portion of his cloak too, on the collar on his cloak. So you got the bendy wire here, and you can manipulate that how you see fit and have it flowing. And yeah, man, I think this is really nice. So the blue cloak here as opposed to the red for the first appearance version, and I think that looks real nice. You can get those feet pointed, get them floating. Ooh. And that looks dope. Not really many issues so far with everything that I went over. I think Mezco got another home run here, but getting into his articulation is where I have a couple of gripes. The head is on a ball joint. I'll give you a look at that ball peg. Looks like the standard ball peg with most of the Mezcos there. But the head moves independently of the neck, and then the neck can move too, so you get a really good range of motion up and down, left to right. He can do a full 360. It'll pivot. No issue there as far as the head and neck articulation goes. Shoulders on a ball joint, they're going to come up that far. That's pretty much it. They'll get up far this way too. You definitely don't want to do a 360 because you will stress the cloth for the clothing, and you don't want to do that. You don't want to rip his shirt. No upper bicep swivel, which is kind of disappointing, but then again, I kind of understand why they didn't put it there. You might snag the material there too if there was a bicep swivel, but there are other Mezcos with bicep swivels, so I don't know. This single hinge elbow is a pain in the ass. I'm really sick of Mezco with the single hinge elbows, but single hinge and it'll rotate there as well. You get a swivel and a hinge on the wrist. You do get some upper torso articulation. You can turn them left to right. You can move them back and forward. Barely. Same thing with this version. Obviously, it's the same body as the classic version. You do get a little more articulation in the lower abdomen, and you can turn them left to right at the waist just a little bit, but all of this is pretty restrictive. Legs are going to come up just about that far. A split will look like that. Again, you don't want to pull this too far open because you may tear the pants there at the crotch area. You do get an upper thigh swivel. You do get a double jointed knee, and you do get a swivel, a hinge, and a nice deep pivot on the foot, but not the greatest articulation for Doctor Strange. If at the very least they just gave him double jointed elbows and more articulation in the torso, I'd be okay with that. But you know, they take one step forward, two steps back. They give us the great ankle articulation and pivot, but then really restrictive in the upper torso. So yeah. All right, one quick size comparison and I'm out of here. Unfortunately, I don't have my classic Doctor Strange because mine is sitting on my pile of loot with Big Bad Toy Store. The one I did review was my man Ed's. But it's pretty much the same exact body type, same figure for the most part, just different deco. So here's a quick look at that again. And there you have it. And then on Doctor Strange's immediate right, our left, is the Mezco Punisher. On the far left is the Marvel Legends Dormammu Build-A-Figure. On Doctor Strange's immediate left, our right, we have the SH Figuarts Super Saiyan 3 Goku. And on the far right, the Star Wars Black Series Greedo. And that's how those stack up. I'm pretty happy with this figure. This figure is actually not even mine. Shout out to my man Cappy out in Mexico. He allowed me to review his figure before I send it out to him. I'm kind of like thinking that I want to get this one now, but I think it's too late, unfortunately. I'm cool with the classic version though overall because I prefer the red cloak over the blue, although this guy does look really, really nice. They did a great job on this figure. I would have liked to see them include an additional head sculpt, but I understand why they didn't, maybe because they included the globe and, you know, the other accessories, but maybe an angry face or screaming or something like that would have been a nice treat with this guy. There will be an additional or a different head sculpt with the modern version, which I think I'm going to pick up now. I said that after I reviewed the classic version, that I was pretty interested in the modern version after seeing how nice the classic version came out. So yeah, this guy's nice. I picked him up at New York Comic Con. They had him on early release there this past weekend. I do not know what the availability is like now, if he's still available, but it is one I would recommend. I think it's best, one of Mezco's better figures, no question about it. So thanks for hanging out. As always, rate, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, peace.